Hello and welcome to the Trail Times podcast with a little bit of recording from the TrailFest Cannock Chase Forest event on Saturday the 13th of September. I should have recorded this bit at the start of the event, however I've recorded this little bit that you're listening to now and watching now at the end of the event while we're just waiting for the last few people to come in. Hopefully later on I'll be able to report on some good news of them finishing, as is now tradition for this podcast, for this video. I got some clips but nowhere near as many as I should have done, so we'll hear from some people in a moment who have joined us here, currently in some beautiful sunshine, but we did have some massive downpours in the afternoon as well. So the runners that did the 10k and most of the half marathon runners went home dry. A lot of the marathon runners and the 50k runners got very, very wet at points. But we'll hear some clips and then you'll hear from me again as I go over how the day unfolded, the fun we've had, the not so much fun bits we've had, and everything else as well. What distance you signed up for today?
I'm signed up for the 10k.
Do you know Cannock Chase?
Never been here before in my life.
Okay, excellent. Did you watch any of the videos of the course?
I did, yes.
Okay, good.
I did, yes.
So what are you expecting to find?
Hills.
Good. Well, that's good. The worst thing you can do is turn up and not expect hills. One little bit of advice: the first 2.5k is downhill.
Right. Okay.
So either if you want to really go for it, gun it.
Right. No.
But you're going to then pay for it once you hit those switchbacks.
Yeah. I've only done 10k once.
Excellent.
So
trail or road?
Road.
Right. Okay. That's good. So hopefully this is sort of the best of it. And although it's hilly, it is still like it's a friendly one to do. There's no like cut offs. There's no, you know, it's not. It's decent paths.
Well, I saw that the cut off was like midnight. 8 o'clock, and I thought, well, I can walk it in that time.
Yeah, I mean, you could walk it backwards juggling in that time, I think.
Okay.
But
I'm not going to try.
But have fun, and
Thank you.
We'll try and get you at the end as well.
All right, then, mate.
Good man. What distance are you doing today?
I'm doing 10k.
What's your running background?
Well, I started running when we were in COVID, during COVID time. Then I stopped for a couple of years, and now I'm restarting again. So I have been running now for like 4 or 5 months. So that I want to gradually increase the distance. So this is my second 10k in this month.
Excellent. So have you done trail or road? Or?
No, this is the first time that I'm doing trail. Yeah. So.
Excellent. What have you got on your feet? We'll see how we get. We'll see how we get on with those. Just enjoy it. Take your time. It starts flat and then it starts to really go up and down.
Okay, thanks.
So if you're out of breath in the first kilometre, it's going to be a very long day.
Okay.
But you're then going to come up this finish line and it'll be good.
Perfect. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate it.
I'm stood here with the half marathon female first place. How did you get on today?
Yeah, well, a lot better than I expected. With a shock, I think, when I crossed the line and you said I was first.
Yeah, you didn't seem to believe us, but no. you did really well. And what was the time? I've got no idea. Do you know what you timed it?
2:06.
Do you know
2 hours, 6 minutes and 44 seconds.
Have you got like what's like your half marathon time? Do you know, or like if you're doing like a road one?
I've not like raced a road one, but like 150 is quite fine.
So how did you enjoyed the switchbacks?
Yeah. I actually prefer trail running than road running, I think.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what we're all about. Yeah. But it's your first Big Bear event?
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. Both of you?
Mm.
Yeah. Good.
We've only done like 2 or 3 trail races.
Nice.
Before, so.
But it's beautiful, isn't it? Lovely day, lovely woods,
lovely road.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do.
It's lovely. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. A few little clips there from the day. Like I said, I'm always really bad at getting these clips, so apologies for not having more sort of on the ground stuff, but it's good to interact with the runners, and as I said before, I just love to chat to them at the finish, and if you stick a microphone or a camera in their face, some of them literally run away, which is what I had at the weekend, and it just sort of makes it potentially not feel quite as genuine. So a great day. Really, really, really good day. So I'm recording this on Monday morning now, having had a bit of rest yesterday and going to football games with the kids, whatever. But refreshed, having had a really, really good weekend. So I'm assuming that if you're watching this or listening to this, you know what TrailFest is. But TrailFest is our one time each year where I actually work at the weekends. We have a 10k, half marathon, 50k at the same place, starting sort of different times through the morning, whatever makes it work for the course. So on Saturday, with the 50k starting at 8 a.m, we had the marathon and the 10k starting at 8:45, because the marathon and the 10k share the same first lap, which was following the purple arrows, and then the half marathon starting at 9 o'clock. They do essentially a little shortcut to do a mini 3 mile lap, and then they do the big 10 mile lap. So Cannock Chase Forest, beautiful, beautiful place. Where we are for that event is a little bit further away from the visitor centre, where it's just us and people out in the woods, obviously, but it's not full of bikes, full of kids. Although it was busy up there. There's a lot more people there than I think I've seen previously. I don't know. But there were people on horses, people on bikes. The cadets were out with their little guns that they looked like. I couldn't see any. So I was driving past them at one point, couldn't see any targets they were firing out, but I'm pretty sure they were firing just at the van. But there's lots of people up there. Really, really nice atmosphere. Just love it. So that is TrailFest, and then we do it at Salty Forest, and we do it at Cannock Chase Forest as well. Hopefully next year, I just need to make 1 or 2 more phone calls just to confirm it all, but hopefully we'll have a new venue that we'll use for TrailFest as well next year. And I think, sadly, I don't think we're going to return to Cannock Chase for this event for next year. I'll probably explain a little bit more at the end, but at the moment it's not in my plans. However, I spent all weekend sort of saying that to people and then seeing the disappointment on their face. I'm thinking, we'll see what we can do. But as with all the venues that I use, just because we don't use it one year doesn't mean we won't come back another year. I mean, we didn't use the rugby course. We hadn't used that since COVID, and we went back there this year, and we'll probably go back next year. It just depends. Like there's lots of variables in it that decide whether we use a course or not. But it was great. Really, really, really good. It is the biggest event of the year. I haven't actually counted how many starters we had, but we had just under 300 people on the start list. And so that's a lot of people to get from a car park that isn't quite attached to where we are, where we're going to be, around somewhere where you could get incredibly lost for lots and lots of days, and to do it all safely so that people feel like they're being looked after takes a lot of help. So in terms of volunteers, it is the biggest event that I put on each year, and lots of them have come up from rugby, from Coventry, from sort of further afield to come and help. So it's really difficult. It's one of the reasons we might not return to Cannock Chase Forest. I find it very difficult to get volunteers up there, because the local running community, they just get tapped up all the time to help with the events that are there, and so it's tricky, because I completely get it. They don't want to support every event that's on there all the time because they want to run in them and they want to go and do other things, and so on and so on. So it's not a grumble at all. It is just the reality that it's tricky to get the volunteers at that place, because my what I term sphere of influence sort of degrades as I get further away from Northampton and Coventry, so it is a little bit further out, but they did a cracking job. It's a long day. I mean, we were there before it got light and we went home just as it got dark, so it's a proper all-day shift. Some people came and helped for a few hours, but the majority of people helped all the way through. And it's a funny sort of setup, because at the beginning, when there's 300 people, you're really busy and you're energetic and everything's going on, and then there's quite a lull pretty much from lunchtime onwards where you're supporting the 50k runners in the main and a few marathon runners that are left, but there's a lot less of them. So you've gone from manically running around and it's sort of all systems go, to then seeing somebody every 20 minutes or every hour, because that's the gaps on the course. So it just sort of makes the day feel even longer, just because all of that energy at the beginning, it's just different. It's just how it is. It's just different to the other events that we do, but it just makes it an even more heroic shift to do. So thank you very much to everybody that gave their time. And Will, who checked the course at the beginning of the day, so he ran 10 miles, and then he cleared the 10k course, so did another 6 miles then, and then he took down the 10-mile course as well. So he definitely did over a marathon at least, and then was dotting about all over the place. So just massive help from lots and lots of people, so thank you very much for that. In terms of the actual event, as with all of these things, the way that I like to do stuff, it's very much about people doing their own stuff. So in terms of like the running and racing, I'm not out there to see who's in front of who and who's doing this. It's just not how I run my events. It's for people to do their own thing. And the amount of conversations, I mean, the 2 clips I think that were of people from before, and the lady that finished first in the half marathon, that I forget her name, but they don't do loads of trail running, or they've not done any trail running before, or they've only done a park run, or park runs, and this is the first ever event they've ever sort of paid to enter. And when they finish, especially there, it is a tough course. It's just brilliant, and they love it. I think everybody that finished, they all look knackered, but they all look just really pleased with themselves, and that's what it's all about. Like we had people running fast, but who's to say what their fast is, or how do you compare that to other things? We had one course record broken, so we have a new marathon course record there for female. Is now Alice Wilson doing that in 5:13, but there were people doing amazing things. If you've never run a 10k before, or you've never done a trail event before, and your first go involves going over those switchbacks, brilliant. Everybody that I spoke to, what was really nice, and I guess makes me want to sort of do this stuff, is had quite a few people saying to me, I saw the video, I saw the clips, I saw these bits, and it doesn't look as bad as it, or it doesn't look anywhere near what it is in reality, because those switchbacks are incredibly steep, and it's very difficult to show it on film. But it's brilliant that people are watching either these podcasts or watching the clips that I put up online, and they appreciate it and it's useful, because this all takes quite a lot of time, and it's not really an ego thing. The hope is that people watch it and they get some value out of it, and the stuff to do with the course previews, that is so that people know what to expect, especially when it comes to trail running. You've got anything from sort of climbing in the Alps to running around the park just on the grass rather than the concrete. So the scope of what trail running can be is so big that I sort of think it's a little unfair just to label it as a medium trail run or a tough trail run. Like, you need to be a bit more specific, show people what there is so they know what they're getting themselves in for. And if they don't want to do it, that's fine, but if you've given them all of that detail and then they turn up and they're like, that was too difficult, or that was too easy, or whatever, then there's nothing really more you can do. You can only do so much. But I try to put as much stuff out there as I possibly can, so that when you turn up to do your event, you know what you're getting yourself in for, and you can just enjoy it. And hopefully everybody did. There were loads of smiles at the end. It was just a really, really nice day. We were very lucky as well. So I think I mentioned it in the bit I did at the start that I actually recorded at the end. If you did the 10k or the half marathon or the marathon in a sort of quite quick time, you were probably dry and thought it was a glorious day. Most of the people doing the 50k, quite a lot of people doing the marathon got wet. But it could have been a lot worse. They could have been out yesterday on Sunday, where it was just biblical all afternoon, which I'm sure you realise if you're listening to this at the time I'm recording it. And then today, on Monday, the forest is actually shut. So if we had today's weather or today's forecast on Saturday, the event would have had to have been cancelled because I wouldn't have had permission to be there. Forestry England, as soon as it gets, I think, above 42 mile an hour gusts, they shut their visitor centres down. They remove permission for you to be there. So you can't close public footpaths very easily at all. So you could go up there and wander around on your own, but I can't organise events up there. They close the visitor centre, they close the cafe, they close the Go Ape, they close everything down. And would have been pretty stuck at that point. But that's what happens when you organise events in England. I mean, especially as the weather starts to turn, it's very autumnal. I think I've got shorts on for probably another week, and then I'll be into jeans until April. It's just the weather's turning, and you can't really do much about it. But we definitely dodged a bullet on that one, which is good, because I wouldn't want to cancel events for the weather. Like, it'd be awful. Really, just take me back to those first events in COVID where you're cancelling them and you feel really bad until you then cancel 10 of them and it doesn't quite hit quite as hard. But that first one really does. Like I say, the day was brilliant. There was amazing running and hiking and walking from loads of people all over the course, people doing things that they thought they could never do. I mean, special mention to our last two ladies on the course, Victoria and Lindsay. Cards on the table. I didn't think they were going to get round when they started their first lap. I went out to go and see them as they got into the aid station. I was trying to do the math, and the math wasn't mathing. But I thought they hadn't got enough time to get in before the cut-off. They were adamant they were going to. I think it was Lindsay's watch. One of them had the watch. I can't remember which one had the watch on. One of them had the watch on that said, "No, we're going to get in at 20 to 8." I was like, "Well, I don't think that's going to be right." And they're like, "No, we are." And they got in at 20 to 8. So the watch is magical, but their effort is also incredible as well, because it is tough. As much as I've already mentioned, like, for being a volunteer and it being really, really busy and then not being busy, the same if you're the runner as well. So you've gone from running out there and there's people around you and they're overtaking you, you're overtaking them. There's a bit of buzz, and then suddenly you're in Cannock Chase on your own for the last hour or so, and there's no one else around you. Like, that's mentally tough. So they did incredibly well to get there. I'm incredibly pleased they finished as well. There would be nothing worse than they finish at 8:02 and they aren't finishers. I very much stick, and if I've mentioned it endlessly, but where I work with Centurion, the policy of, if you're a second over that time cut-off, you haven't finished, you don't get the medal. I am an advocate of that as well, because then when you do get that medal, you've really earned it. It's not a consolation prize. It's not everybody gets it. You've got to earn the medal. The hope, to be honest, with these events is that we don't make the cut-offs so fine that we get people sort of punching the cut-offs. The reason for the cut-off at this event is because it gets dark. Luckily, we got out just as we needed to be putting head torches on to pack stuff away, so we didn't have to get head torches out. Yes, we could make head torches mandatory kit, and we could go through the night and whatever. I know that's an option, but the idea is for it to be a day event. That's why was one of the reasons we dropped the 50-mile part of TrailFest that we used to do. So we used to have 50 milers at Cannock Chase, but the cut-off for that, to make it accessible for more people, would have to be really quite long, which then makes it an even longer day, and then you're getting into the night time, which I don't want to do. But they did really, really well. So I'm incredibly pleased that they got round. We had people that didn't finish, but they did that of their own accord, effectively. Yeah. So it was just a really, really good, wholesome, fun day. But as I said at the beginning, there's a good chance that we won't be doing this. Well, at the moment, it's not on the plans for next year. There's a good chance that we won't be coming back to do it. Doing events at Forestry England sites is really expensive, so they demand a high fee. They have beautiful places, so they can sort of get away with it. But but it makes it incredibly expensive. I don't struggle, but getting volunteers for those events is always more challenging, and it's a little bit further away from the Rugby, Coventry, Northampton area where a lot of my audience is. So it's more difficult for me to then get the sort of my runners in bunny ears to sort of go up there and do those events. I'm then sort of drawing new people in, which has its benefits, because hopefully I draw new people in and then they come to some of the other events as well. So I'm not silly. I know I need to bring new people in, but it has to be a sort of sustainable way of doing it. So I think we're going to give Cannock Chase Forest TrailFest a break for 2026. That is the current plan, and we're going to be adding in a new venue this weekend, so for this weekend next year. What I didn't quite clock, and I do need to go away and look at this, is just how many events are on this weekend. And it's because they've all made the same calculation that I did, is that you want to get the event in before it starts getting too dark too early. So it needs to be early September. You don't want to do the first weekend back after the school holidays, because you want to try and get your life in order first before you put a big event on. And so really you've got this weekend, like the 13th, so like the second weekend of September and the third weekend of September. Once you get into the end of September, the night sort of draws in quite early, so it reduces your time. And then it starts to get cold, wet, windy, which we sort of have today, but it's more likely. And if you go back into August, you lose so many people when they're just on holiday. So it just makes it tricky. And then if you ignore August, you're back into June, July, which is then also really busy. So it's very tricky. I think I saw something for last weekend where there were 26 half marathons you could go and do. Well, that is a tricky market when you're competing against 26 other half marathons, and that is how it is. I am as much part of the problem as anybody else, so I'm not complaining at all, but I didn't quite realise how popular this weekend and like this little period is for events, and it's for a good reason. It's the same reason that I want to put those events on. So we'll see. So what I would suggest, if you've got this far, sign up to the very important Bear mailing list. I'm hoping, this week there will definitely be an announcement on a TrailFest that will be coming out in the summer of next year. And the new venue, I just need to tie that up completely. Just some slight tweaks to the course I need to make sure are okay. And then that will get launched hopefully by the end of this month. If it's not that venue, then I don't know what we'll do. But if you know of any, think sort of wedding venue type places, somewhere where I can park a lot of cars and has a lot of land, just let me know. Ideally within an hour of rugby. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm trying to find places where I can park 300 cars, ideally on concrete, because that makes my life a lot easier. And then somewhere that's got a few acres where we can run around and try and get a 10-mile lap, or at least a 10k lap. It's difficult, who knew? But yeah, always open to suggestions on new venues. Got another 2 new venues for next year as well that we, again, 99% sure we're going to be using, that I'll be launching in the next month as well. And if you sign up to the mailing list and you enter those events before that they are sort of fully public, you can use 20% off the entry as well. So you can get yourself a bit of a bargain. So sign up to the mailing list. I tend to not spam it with loads of stuff. I try my best not to. So the stuff that goes out is either telling you about new events, telling you about events about to sell out, or telling you about an event that's very shortly going to be on. So sign up. What I also really enjoyed from the weekend, and this is I guess a bit detailed, but we'll go into it anyway. So I've been using RaceCheck since 2018. And if you're watching the YouTube thing, video that is, you can see on the back they used to send you out certificates when you got gold awards. I've got tons of these gold awards. I could fill the wall full of gold awards, but they don't send out the certificates anymore. And I think making your own certificates is another level of sort of narcissism that I don't have that. But when they send them out to me, I'll stick them up. The fact that they are 6 years old, 7 years old, we'll gloss over that point. Point is, what I can do with my entry platform is I can schedule emails to go out, and they link into RaceCheck. So before, I was of the opinion that I didn't want to send out emails asking for reviews until I did it personally, because if the day's gone really badly, I don't know if I really want to ask for reviews. But I've changed my thoughts on that. So instead, what I've done now is I've set it to send out an hour after the event started. So the idea being that for the majority of people, you'll have had the email asking you for a review while you were still running, which then led to a unintended consequence that I hadn't thought about, which is sort of come 10, 11 o'clock on the day, my phone's sort of pinging as I keep getting these reviews coming in, and they've all been really, really good. So we've already had 40 reviews, which is excellent, from a start list of, let's say, 250 people. So about 1 in 5, 1 in 6 people have left a review, which is phenomenal. A score of 4.89 out of 5, which is excellent, and just some really, really nice comments. Let's just pick some out at random here. Brilliant event, very friendly atmosphere, inclusive time cut-offs, great aid stations, and fab medal. Thank you, Fiona. So that's lovely. First time at a trail event from start to finish today was excellent. Big Bear events are professional, very well organised, cover all aspects of trail running needs, including a lot of food and refreshments at the fuel stations. It's just really quite nice to have people say these things. This was my first ever trail run, and I did the half marathon. The views were amazing, and I really enjoyed it. Met some lovely people too. It's just really nice to sort of have this pinging in your pocket as you go round, and I really enjoyed it, and it was just a really, really good day, and one that I hope to repeat. So for the rest of the year, what we've got coming up, so I don't know, maybe get it wrong, but the reason for this, when I say this, the rest of the year we've got the Kingfisher Challenge on the 30th of September at Coombe Abbey in Coventry, and then that is followed up the same evening with our first of our Petzl night trails events, which is going to be at Coombe Abbey, and that's the first time we've done it at Coombe Abbey. So we've done nighttime running, nighttime 10Ks for years. I mean, it's what one of those awards is for back there. So we've done them for 6 or 7 years, done them for ages, but it's the first time we've done it at Coombe Abbey. We've done 10Ks at Coombe Abbey, and they've been really successful, so all we're going to do is just turn the lights off. So it's going to be great. For those events, though, I've only got, as I record, with 3 places left at the Kingfisher Challenge, so that will sell out. And we've got 10 left for the 10K, that will sell out as well. So if you want to come into those events, get down. Coombe Abbey has been such a well-attended venue this year, last year, and the year before. Expect to see more events at Coombe Abbey. Coombe Abbey would make for quite a good destination for a TrailFest, but it's not quite big enough, and if you pick essentially, for it to work, the weather would have to be awful so that no locals would be there on a Saturday or Sunday, because it's an incredibly popular place to go for walks. It's only 15-20 minutes from where I'm standing right now. We go there. You go on a weekend, and it's, to be honest, it's not much fun getting across the waterway when there's just kids and dogs and all sorts everywhere, especially as I get to go there during the week when there's nobody there, when it's lovely. So it's potentially a really good venue, but because there's only one way of getting over there's essentially one little walkway that you have to cross if you want to use the whole of the place. It just makes it too congested. But anyway, point is, it's really popular there. If you've not been, it's beautiful. You should go. but tickets are running out very, very quickly. And then the only other events that we've got for the rest of the year are the Dormouse Challenge at Salty Forest. That has 20 places left in it. Considering that is at the end of November, that will sell out as well. And then that evening, we've got the second Petzl Night Trails 10K at Salty Forest. We've done those 10Ks there for years. Works really, really well. There's loads of places left in that, so if you want to join us for that. So we've only got those events left. The main reason for that is because year after year I've realised that October is a nightmare, much because of the reasons I gave earlier about just how congested the running schedule is. So I never organise events sort of in mid-April because of London Marathon, Manchester Marathon, all those marathons. They just draw too many people away, and then they don't want to come and do my events, which is fine. What I hadn't realised until last year is October's very similar, but it's mainly for half marathons. So there's big half marathons on in October, and it just draws enough of people away from my events that make them smaller, not worth the time and effort to have half the amount of people turning up. That said, I've had the best year of business we've ever had. I think I'll check the maths at some point, but I think that's going to be right. It's just been really, really good. All of the events have sort of got to where they need to get to. Some have massively exceeded them. I don't think that I can recall we've had any events where we've had bad numbers, whereas last year we had some really, really good events, and then we had some really, really bad events. So rather than having all the ups and downs, it sort of stayed a bit higher and just sort of stayed steady and high, which is brilliant. I mean, that's how I can run the business. That's how it can keep going forever and ever. So it's been really good. But the reason there's less events on in the autumn is because October, I've just said no events going on in October. Beginning of November, I race direct the Wendover Woods 50 miler for Centurions. That takes a bit of time out there, and it's my kid's birthday. And then we've got the Dormouse Challenge late November, but if we go into December, we then don't have enough daylight to actually put the 6-hour events on and get out before it gets dark. So the latest we ever had an event on, I think it was like the 11th of December. We did it at Sents Valley, which we've not been back to since, I don't think, actually. And we were packing away with headlights on to help us pack away. I don't want to do that. It really is rubbish setting these events up in the dark as well. We live in England. I've just got to get over it, but I just don't particularly enjoy it, so I don't want to do that. So that's why there's less events in. But I think next year I will probably add an event in October, and just know that the numbers are probably going to be lower. It will probably be in Rugby, so then it's not as far for me to travel as well. It's a bit of an easier setup there. So we'll see how it goes. But that's the thought for next year, because I've had such a good year this year. I think I'm looking at my 2026 plans. I think there's going to be 2 or 3 extra 6-hour events compared to last year. We'll have the 2 TrailFest events. We'll have the Summer 10K. We'll have the Petzl Night Trail events. So it should look quite similar, just with a little bit more. As with all stuff Big Bear, it's evolution, not revolution, because it works really nicely. I really enjoy it. Runners seem to enjoy it. We get great feedback. You just need to keep making sure it's fresh. We've got a guy that used to run with us quite a few times, I think maybe 10 events or so, and then I think his knees went. Anyway, he emailed me a couple of weeks ago, and he'd volunteered, I think just after COVID, and he hasn't been back since. And he said, right, my knees, I think he's had surgery, but he's back running. He wants to come back. And I said to him, hopefully you'll come back and it'll feel like home, but a little bit different, sort of thing. Sort of like when somebody buys your house and you go back 5 years later and you sort of say, oh, it is my old house, but it's not quite the same, because I want the essence of Big Bear to be the same as it was in 2018 at Wright and Paul's for the Big Bear Challenge for that first event. But I don't want it to have the to have cola rather than Coca-Cola. I don't want it to have water that tastes of plastic because the water containers were crap. I don't want the gazebos to fall down when it gets windy. I just want every time somebody comes back, if they've left it a year, something's a little bit different. Just small little things like, oh, you've got table covers now, that looks a bit smarter. You might see in some of those clips, if you're watching them on YouTube, I bought crowd fencing, and we've got covers that go over those that have got the route map on, little things like that. I'm just trying to tweak little bits to try and improve it every time, but not lose the essence of what Big Bear is. And that is the plan. So I'm rambling now, so I will stop. But our next event is in 2 weeks, 30th of September. If you want to join us, sign up now, because there won't be any tickets left if you don't sign up now. That will sell out that event. I had a great time. I hope you enjoyed it at TrailFest. If you're watching this having run yourself, it was just really just peak Big Bear at TrailFest. Really, really enjoyed it. So thanks very much, and I will speak to you soon.